Hello, this is Ruthie, and today I want to address a question that you will inevitably have. Now, I know you've been watching my videos for a while by the time you get to this one, and I suppose what you're saying is, Ruth, how come we two kids have to stay away from magic when we know lots of kids from other Christian homes who they're allowed magic all they want, and we see them dressing up for parties as witches and things, and they just seem to be having fun? How come we're not allowed? Well, whether you've asked that question or not, that is a really good question with a really good answer, so I'm going to answer it. The answer is that thousands of years ago, when God established the Jewish people to be a nation for himself and reveal the light of his glory to the nations, meaning us, the rest of the world, they were all very, very special. They all had the job of revealing his light to the world. But there was one tribe that was very special. This was the tribe of Levi. And they were the tribe that became the priests. They were the ones that went around connecting God to the people and the people to God. It was very, very special. Now, because they were such a holy branch of the Jewish family, they had a lot more restrictions placed on their lives. The Jews had a lot of restrictions placed on their lives because they were God's holy people. They were his chosen people. And they had to be a light to the nations. And this particular tribe had to be a light to the Jews. So they were holding a very, very high level indeed. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is I want you to understand that restrictions placed on your life are blessings. They're not curses, they're blessings. Getting close to God comes down entirely to how loyal are you going to be to God. And being loyal to God means you must choose the things that he loves and you must hate the things that he hates. That is basically it. That's the end of the story. And when you see children who are at your age, let's say they're dressing up like witches and wizards and fairies and magical things, and they're having a nice little time, and you're not allowed to do that, you wonder, why aren't you allowed? Well, the answer is simple. You need to devote yourself to God so that you get a higher connection to him, and this starts with being as loyal as you can. When you get older, especially for little girls, this becomes an issue. The temptation will change. You will wonder, why do you have to wear skirts that come below the knee? Why do you have to cover up to your neck? Why do you have to do this and this and this when everyone else is running around on a hot day looking a lot more comfortable? Again, it is about being loyal to God. These restrictions are actually blessings that increase our connection to God. And if we want to understand God, it's always a good idea to look into the Bible and study how he interacts with the Jewish people, because this is the job of the Jewish people. They're there to really be a light to the nations, and we can learn a lot from them. And I have concluded from reading my Bible a lot that the holier you want to become, the more restrictions in your life you're going to have to accept. So when I tell you, don't dress up like a witch, don't dress up like a wizard, don't watch movies with magic in them, I understand that I am telling you to avoid things that the average Christian family is perfectly happy to have their children involved with. But I want to tell you something. You do not want to be like the average Christian family. It is a very unfortunate truth that the average Christian family is hobbling along with no real connection to God because they are not really seeking him and being totally, totally obedient. Now, I have met some families that are totally obedient to God, but I have met quite a few that are not. They just apply it like a coat of paint to their outsides, and they don't have any spiritual power, because God doesn't turn up for an outward show of religion. He turns up for an internal, something that happens on the inside, devotion to him. And you must be devoted to him on the inside, and this will begin to affect how you behave on the outside. You don't want to live a life devoid of spiritual power. People sometimes say, oh, like it's a bad thing. Oh, this generation, these young people today, they want a religion with a bit of spiritual power to it. Well, yes, I do. That's like saying, oh, the young people of today, they want a car with wheels that you can actually drive somewhere. Yes, again, I do. I don't think a car without wheels would be any use, and I don't think a religion without power has much value. The reason Christianity can be a powerful religion is if you within that religion absolutely devote yourself to the will of God and say, whatever you want from me, I am going to do it. I am going to do it no matter how much it hurts. I am going to do it because you are God and you are worthy of loyalty. That is where the religion will get its power. It comes down to loyalty. This is why I'm telling you, be loyal to God. You don't want your religion to be some sort of boring tradition that you just do it because, people in your circle, in your school do it. And going to church does not mean that you have a connection to God. If you have a connection to God and you feel He wants you to go to church, fantastic. Go to church. You should be obeying God. But going to church does not mean you have a connection to God. There are plenty of people who sit in the pew every Sunday and they do not know the Spirit of God in their life because they are not totally loyal to the Spirit of God. They're not asking Him to help them make decisions in their lives. And if they are asking, sometimes they're not obeying. And I don't want you to be like that because that is a hideous way to live. You want the power of God in your life. You want Him to speak to you. You want your prayers to get answered and you need to get miracles when you're in a tough situation. But just like when you want to buy something really nice, you have to save up for it. With miracles, you have to save up your prayers and your obedience. And this only works when you are totally devoted to God, because it's only then that you will have the faith and the courage to keep obeying Him. So I want you to remember that. We obey God not because we like laws and not because we like restrictions. We don't. They're tiresome. We do it because when we put ourselves under His limitations, He will make miracles for us. And what is a miracle? A miracle is breaking the expected boundaries. He is going to do amazing things for you that you can't even imagine when you devote yourself to Him and you get totally, totally loyal to Him. Remember that. The Jewish people were established as a enormous family to show the light of God to the world, and we can learn a lot from reading about them in the Bible and how they were supposed to behave. They had limitations placed on them that the nations surrounding them did not have, but the payoff was they had God doing miracles like splitting the sea and giving them water out of the rock, and they saw visions and God led them and God spoke to them, and it is through the Jews that the whole world has come to an understanding of the one true God. So we can learn a lot from looking at that example in the Bible. But remember, they got those miracles. No family on earth has ever had miracles like the Jewish family. No family on earth. It's absolutely amazing what God has done for that nation. However, they also had more limitations placed on them than any other nation on earth. They had to be very, very obedient. And we can learn from that, and we can be obedient to God as well, because it is when you are obedient to God that you get yourself in a position where He is willing to do a miracle for you. Love you lots, and stay holy and keep obeying the Lord in all your ways. Bye-bye.